Duval. What do we say, Tristan? Welcome back to Jaggin Out. It is your host, Sean. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. It's been about 2 months since we made a video. We are back in the new Jaguar lair. Look at this. Look at this Trevor Lawrence autograph in the background. And the Jags kick off their first football game of what is soon to be maybe a sorry-ass season. This is, if you're new to it, home of Jacksonville's 5th best channel, 5th best YouTube coverage. We're not the first channel. We're not the second channel. We're definitely not the third. We're not the fourth. We're the 5th. That's a big fucking middle finger to you Texans fans. I saw y'all, I believe, lost your first preseason game. We are 1-0, baby. 1-0, a comeback win for the Jacksonville Jaguars, winning today from a crap, total bullshit of a living nightmare of a first half. We came back and we won the game 24-20. If you are new to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jaggin Out. We do have the best PowerPoints. We have some of the shittiest Jaguar coverage, but we have the best PowerPoints. That's for goddamn sure. So if you look here to your bottom left-hand corner or right-hand corner, I don't know what it is because I've never learned my left from my right. But we will be going over a Jags versus Saints post-game. We did take care of the Saints. That is just a feeder organization for the Jags. We never have any problem with the Saints. No, easy work, easy day. We're going to go over by the stats. We'll go over the stats of the game. We'll go over a little Trevor watch where we talk about Trevor Lawrence and how he did. Even though he didn't play today, there is something significant I will say about Mr. Trevor Lawrence and his absence in today's game. And that was simply our quarterbacks, our backups, besides for Carter, are absolute ass. We'll go over that. We'll go over the the turd of the week, which we identify as the worst Jacksonville Jaguar out there in that sorry-ass first half of a preseason game that we played. Then we will go over the Jag of the week, who the best player was, followed by the Buckman Bridge watch. If you're unfamiliar with the Buckman Bridge is, it's the bridge in Jacksonville that separates the nice half or the rich side of Jacksonville to the poor side of Jacksonville, which I currently reside in. And basically the Buckman Bridge watch evaluates the likelihood that I will indeed jump off that Buckman Bridge after a Jacksonville Jaguars game. So we'll see what that watch is at. Last year after the playoff game, it was ramped up to an 8 out of 10. 8 being the 10 being the most likely I will jump off, and 1 being I am safe from jumping. So I was at an 8 last year. So let's see where we're at this season on Jaggin Out, home of Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel, with the best setup. Look at these autographs here. Trevor Lawrence, we got the Duval. I just squeaked like a 16-year-old girl. We got the Duval sign in the background. Let's go, baby, on the Jags win. First game of the season, or preseason game. It might be our only win of the season. Who the hell knows? But we're going to start off with where we always start off. What do all these images have in common? So you can see starting here, we have Mrs. Mia Khalifa. She is a jewelry designer from Lebanon. We have Chris Angel himself, the mind freak, there in the middle. We have the Jacksonville versus Saints preseason game, which happened today. And then we have on the bottom right-hand corner, me getting a promotion at work. I will not reveal my true profession, but this is not my primary job. So what do all these images have in common? What's the commonality amongst all these? Mia Khalifa, the jewelry designer, Chris Angel, the mind freak, the Jaguars versus the Saints preseason game, and then lastly, me getting a promotion. Let's find out on this next slide, shall we? What do they all have in common? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you are an absolute dumbass. So what these images all have in common is don't be fooled by anything you see in these images and what they claim to be and what perception that they give off. If you look up these images, starting off with Mrs. Mia Khalifa, I hate to break it to her and the rest of the world, she is not a jewelry designer. That is shocking news. It only takes one Google search to reveal that Miss Khalifa has been in more special videos than the Jaguars probably have wins in their franchise history. That is just a fact. Don't be fooled by the persona that they're giving off. She is not a jewelry designer. She is a special video artist, one of the best in the game, actually. And then Mr. Chris Angel, he had me fooled for years. I thought this man was actually the mind freak. He was doing the craziest shit, walking on water, doing the craziest magic tricks. It was all an illusion, baby. That was glass underneath. That was fiberglass underneath his freaking feet. The whole time. Had me fooled as a kid. And then, lastly, me getting a promotion at work. That's never going to happen. Don't fool yourself, Fitz. That is why we had to move to YouTube. No matter how hard I work or how much effort I put in, I will never get a promotion at work. So we had to move to YouTube to try to supplement our income. And then finally, when it comes to the Jaguars versus Saints preseason game, don't let anything you see today shape your opinion on the season. That would be an absolute fool move. I'm actually probably the only person on the planet that is talking about this game because I love the Jaguars. But don't let a preseason game fool you on what to expect for the season. So like I said, tying together all of my thoughts here, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. If you take anything out of these images, you're an absolute dumbass, especially if you take anything out of the game that took place today between the Jaguars and the Saints, especially in the first half. Holy shit. We were living an absolute nightmare. By the stats, we'll jump right into it. The Jaguars did win this game 24-20, but the first half was not good. Starting off, you think these guys are jazzed up. None of the starters were playing, by the way. There's a lot of Jaguars that are apparently having a very good training camp as well. There's only one thing that's more of a misnomer or more of rage bait or just living in the land of make-believe besides for preseason, and that is training camp studs. We've had this conversation in the past, and I remember specifically in the year 2023, everyone was saying everyone was having an absolute amazing training camp, including the likes of Calvin Ridley and Tyson Campbell. Both those guys ended up being absolute bums that year. It's an illusion that people just make up to catch headlines and all that. So take what you want from this game with a grain of salt, but we were quite terrible in the first half. You think all these guys, these second stringers and third stringers would be ready to go, ready to show what they had after all the hours that they were practicing, all the time they put forth. The very first play of this fucking game, they let up an 85-yard kick return. I thought the guy from the Saints was going to take it to the house, but it didn't take them long after that. They scored a touchdown immediately after they got down from a 85-yard kick return. One handoff to estimate, and it was a touchdown. And there's where the bullshit from the first half began. The Saints just poured it on us in the first half. It was like, I want to say the score was like 20-6, something crazy like that. Now, we did acquit ourselves very nice in the second half, but man, that first half was terrible. And it was highlighted by the turd of the week, who we'll get into in a minute, which is no other than, I won't reveal it just yet, but you can take a guess if you watch the game, and it was probably our quarterback that started the game. But looking at the stats, I have the stats down here, and what's kind of surprising is usually Google puts the starting quarterback stats up. He was so irrelevant that they don't even have his stats. Our best quarterback on the day was Carter Bradley. This guy was kind of a low-key, I wouldn't call him a stud. Carter was not a stud, but he played way better than Mullins. Carter Bradley was 10 of 17. He had 105 yards passing, a touchdown, and an INT. And then you had the likes of Zach Wilson just tearing us a new butthole in the first half. This guy who's been just tossed around the league more than Malia Khalifa has been tossed around in special videos, just absolutely lit the Jaguars up. He was 11 for 16, barely missed a pass. There was just balls flying around everywhere on the Jaguars defense. More balls flying around than you'll see in a Malia Khalifa special video. That's for gosh damn sure. But he was 11 for 16. He didn't miss. He had 145 yards and a touchdown. It was a madness with him. And then our rushing leader for today was our rookie who we drafted. I want to get into another rookie who I knew this guy was going to be an absolute bum. And that was Mr. Burkacher, whatever this tight end's name is that we drafted in the second round. He interviewed before the game. He said he was going to absolutely be flying around. He was going to be a stud. His quote unquote is, I'm ready to fly around, make some catches out there. And I'm going to jump right into this. Let's see how many receiving yards and catches that Burkacher, our second round draft pick, who we spent our maximum, our highest draft pick, our highest draft capital in the offseason. And let me take a guess, ladies and gentlemen, how many catches this guy had, how many yards receiving. Everyone do a favor for me right now. Close your eyes. What do you see? Fucking nothing. He did nothing out there. He's a bum. I'm just going to stand by that. It's probably going to be one of the worst draft picks of all time in Jacksonville. I don't want to see this guy ever get a holding call if he's a blocking tight end. You should be an elite blocker if you're drafted with our first second round pick in the draft. That's enough of Nate Burkacher or whatever the hell his name. I can't even pronounce it. But we did this rookie, Jamari Taylor, he from Virginia. I believe it was. He had a pretty nice game. He had 22 carries. He did get the ball a lot. Bashal Tootin wasn't tooting down the field. Great last name for him, by the way. But 22 carries and 78 yards for Mr. Taylor and a touchdown. Our leading receiver was this Pena dude. He had 3 receptions and 58 yards. No touchdowns, but most of those yards were on a very long catch at the end of the game. Rushing leaders for the Saints was Andre Estime, 5 carries, 28 yards. He's a Notre Dame guy. I'm a Notre Dame fan, by the way. Man, you can see my weekends in the fall are absolute hell. I live in the land of bullshit usually when I have to watch Notre Dame lose on Saturdays and then the Jags catch an L on Sundays. I hope that does not transpire this year because it's an absolute madness with that. Moving on to our stats. The Jaguars were quite terrible in the first half, but we did make a very good comeback in the second half, led by that young quarterback, Carter. It was like he came into the game, and he was a breath of fresh air from Mullins in the first half. I will get into Mullins in a minute. No surprise, he may be winning our Turd of the Week. But when it comes to all these guys, who knows if these dudes are even going to be, on the Jaguars team, on their active roster when it comes to the time that the actual regular season starts. There's been a lot of hype around CJ Williams. I've heard his name a lot in training camp. Austin Trammell, he's been around the block once or twice. He's been around the block more than Malia Khalifa in special videos. That's for gosh dang sure. DJ Dallas had a pretty decent game. He had some rushing yards and he had 1 reception and 6 yards on 2 targets. CJ Williams, I thought, was okay. He had 2 receptions and a drop. I don't like to see that. We only need 1 receiver on our team dropping balls, and that's Brian Thomas Jr. That guy was an absolute fucking bum last year, and he owes me $300 for how much fantasy money I spent on his ass last year. I trusted him with my fantasy teams, and I single-handedly got railroaded in all my fantasy leagues. So, Brian Thomas Jr., if you're watching this video, you owe me $300 this year, my dude. And or have a decent season so I don't have to, be embarrassed for drafting you in 3 different drafts last year. But CJ Williams, he was okay. He had 2 receptions for 28 yards. Tyler Pena was probably our best receiver, you could say, overall. 3 receptions for 58 yards. Not much going on here. I think the big story really is how poor we looked in that first half across the board. It's like, and I don't know how many of the Saints, were playing their second string or how many first stringers were playing for the Saints, but we got dominated in that first half. No one looked good in that first half, even on the defensive end. No one was really balling out. Like our answer to Devin Lloyd leaving, Ventrell Miller, he only had 1 tackle. I didn't see him out there too much doing much of anything. But that second half, we did step up a little bit. There was considerably more sacks. Even my new favorite, Brian Thomas Jr. on the team. There is another guy on Jacksonville named Brian Thomas Jr. That literally, there is a defender or a defensive end or a player, and he had a great game. He had 3 tackles, 1 assisted tackle, so 4 total tackles, and a sack. That you could argue what Brian Thomas Jr. did today on defense in the preseason game is more than what Brian Thomas Jr., BTJ, that bum, did all of last year. I'm not going to go over these stats too much. This game is what it is. I'm not a big football analyst, dude. I'm here for the laughs and giggles, but it was terrible the first half. Hard to watch. Almost borderline rage bait, to be honest with y'all. But we pulled it off in the second half. We came back on those sorry-ass Saints. There's only one team here in the South that's maybe more sorry than the Jags, and that's the fucking Saints. And maybe the Dolphins. That's for gosh damn sure. We beat the Saints pretty much universally whenever we play them. They're not a problem for us. I don't even think there's really Saints fans outside of New Orleans. Kind of a bummy organization. And an ugly looking stadium too. My God, I was just seeing that eyesore on my television whenever they zoomed out, but not going to shit on them too bad. The story of this game is we came back, we ended up winning, and the fourth quarter turned into a little bit of a barn burner. We came back, and then the Saints had the ball, and they were driving down, and it came down to the very last play, and they were on like our 5 or 6 yard line, and we broke up a pass. I will say one thing about this Liam Cohen coach team. Cue it on the side. Give me a Duval, Liam.
Duval.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I will say one thing about this Liam Cohen coach team. Say what you want about the dude. He is a goofy looking motherfucker, but these guys play with, a lot of heart, and they have a lot of fight. Even our second and third stringers came back in the second half and made this game competitive and even found a way to win. I think other coached teams in the past, these Jaguar coaches, which I've endured, which Peterson, Doug Peterson, and Urban Meyer himself, those coaches, they would have just called the dogs off. They wouldn't have cared. You could tell not Brian Thomas. You could tell that Liam Cohen was extremely upset during that first half. Just look at his face during that first half. He just seemed distraught. Like none of his instructions were working. Nothing was going well for the team. It was just a very rough go for them. But they came out and they played with a lot of heart, and you wouldn't have seen that in teams past. These Jacksonville Jaguar teams in the past would have just given up. A team coached by Urban Meyer, that son of a bitch probably would have just left at halftime and went to an Ohio bar and looked to grab some ass besides his wife behind. So that's for sure. But it's an absolute madness. We ended up winning, which is a good sign. But really, my second big takeaway from this game, and it jumps right into my Trevor Watch. We usually go over how Trevor Lawrence played in the Trevor Watch and all that. But my big takeaway from the game is, holy crap, we can't have this guy get hurt because our backups are absolute ass. They are trash. They are almost as bad as that bum himself, CJ Stroud, that resides in the Houston Texan uniforms. There's one thing in life that I really can't stand. I'm a very nice guy. I don't have a problem with any race, ethnicity, any people of sexual orientation. I don't care who you bang, who you love, all that noise. The only thing that I absolutely hate in this lifetime are Texans fans. They are the scum of earth. I don't wish bad health upon them, but I do hope that all of them get diarrhea tonight and they have a very uncomfortable night. That's for gosh damn sure. But our team is going to struggle mightily if Trevor Lawrence goes down. Holy crap, these backups are not good. And that leads me directly to the man himself, the guy that started the game, the apparent second stringer on our squad. The turd of the week goes to the one and only Nick Mullins. Holy crap. And I titled this slide. Hold on one sec. Bear with me, y'all. Why don't you get this slide up and running on Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel? That's right. We are Jacksonville's 5th best. There's only 5 channels. I've ranked mine last. We're trying to become the 4th. I think I may pass some of y'all this year. We are working our way up to 50 subscribers. So if you do like this, like and subscribe. But I titled this slide, Nick Mullins, what a stinker. You're the turd of the week, my dude. Congrats. He was horrible. He was both horrible and awful at the same time. He was horrible. I haven't seen a performance like that in a while. I think I could put my son out there who is 4 years old and have him try to toss the football up because he probably would have thrown as many interceptions as Nick Mullins did. This dude was playing blindfolded, my guy. Freaking just throwing the ball to whoever the hell he wanted to on third down. Now, we didn't do him any favors. We had a lot of illegal motions. That's one thing that we had a lot of last year. Legal shifts. We had false starts. The whole works, backing up our drives and leaving long third downs. But this dude on third down was like, cover up my eyes and let me just throw it to anyone out there. Or maybe he was just aiming for Saints players. I do not know. Who the hell knows on that one? But he was horrible. And if this guy is who we're entrusting our offense to whenever Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, which, say what you want about Trevor Lawrence, I love the cat, but he hasn't exactly been the healthiest in his time in Jacksonville. And that's mostly due to our offensive line being kind of ass and mid and being a revolving door and letting him just get the shit kicked out of him. That poor bastard Trevor Lawrence is probably just going home most years to Marissa Lawrence, who's a super hottie, the second hottest girl in Jacksonville behind my wife. That's for gosh damn sure. But I will say that Trevor Lawrence gets beat up. That's for sure. Because our offensive line just lets guys in and just let them beat the hell out of him. And Trevor Lawrence goes home to Marissa Lawrence and probably is in a hot tub or some rich bathtub and just looks up at her and he's like, God, I hate my fucking life sometimes playing for this team. But freaking, if he gets hurt and he goes down, it is going to be scary times in Jacksonville without the Jacksonville Jesus himself. I do call him the chosen one in football, Jacksonville Jesus, Trevor Lawrence, the best hair on planet Earth. I would like a lock of it. I think I deserve that as Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. I would like a lock of Trevor Lawrence's hair. What I do with his hair is my choice and my choice alone. I do have his autograph up here, and up here. My boy Trevor Lawrence. I did meet him one time. He was a nice cat. That's for gosh damn sure. And if I would have got Nick Mullins' autograph, he surely would have missed the paper. Unlike Trevor Lawrence, he could actually hit his targets. But that's enough of Nick Mullins. You are the turd of the week, my dude. Good God. I hope we play Carter. That guy, at least when he came in, I will say that, and he was my jumping right into it. Who was the Jag of the week? Who was the best players for the Jags in this preseason victory? It's quite simple. It's Cam Little is still the man, and then honorable mention to Carter, the double backup quarterback, the third stringer, the guy that only will probably carry a clipboard in the regular season. Sorry, I'm quite winded. I'm talking a lot. Let me get a sip of water real quick. I see you, Nick Mullins, you bum. Here we go. Cheers to winning. And fuck you, Texans fans. I hate y'all still. Don't forget that on Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. We might be the fifth best, but we're the #1 haters of Texans and Texans fans. So Cam Little's still the man. This guy was like 3 for 3 on his field goals. He hit a 50-yarder, I believe. I don't remember the exact distance. We're going to need him a lot this year. I will say that, dude, he is built like a 16-year-old girl, but he can kick the ball a country mile, and we need him to make the kicks in the crucial times. It's all great making these 50-yarders in the preseason, but I do remember him missing a critical kick in the playoff game last year, which was a kick in the nuts, and I was at that game. It was rough. But the other honorable mention goes to Carter, because before Carter came in this game, our team, led by Mullins, did absolute nothing. He was dog shit. We couldn't move the ball down the field. Carter came in. His arm looked way more lively. He had a little bit of stank behind his throws, that's for sure. And he really helped move our team down the field and mount this comeback against the Saints. So you, Cam Little and Carter, you are my Jags of the week. Tying this video all together, this is a preseason game, and I hope to put out more videos soon. I do enjoy doing this, but this is not my job. I do have a job that is a big boy job, which I will never speak of, but I do have a career, which I will never get a promotion for. We went over this earlier, but I do have to attend that job so I don't end up in prison, because if I don't show up to work, I could end up in prison. So at the end of the day, we will end this video with my Buckman Bridge watch. Please like and subscribe, or it will ramp up my Buckman Bridge watch, or the likelihood I will jump off the bridge after a Jags game. So I would say at the end of last year, when it comes to the Buckman Bridge watch, after that Jags and Buffalo Bill playoff game, I was about a solid 8 out of 10. If we ever get to a 10, it's over for me. I will jump off the fucking Buckman Bridge. That's for goddamn sure. But I just think to myself how unfortunate it was for this team to get to 13 wins, wrap up a home playoff game, and then just get shit on by Josh Allen. If it were any other quarterback, I think we would have won that game. I think if we would have lost the division, which I wish would have happened, and we would have went up and played the Steelers like the Texans did, we would have won that game, and then you never know what would have happened from there. If we went to play the Patriots, I believe it would have been after that. Who knows? Who the hell knows? But it's a new season. It's a new day. That bridge isn't looking so, ominous anymore whenever I drive by it or drive over it. I'm ramping down my Buckman Bridge watch to a solid, let's just say 5 out of 10. That's like the mid-state. That's just kind of the steady where I'm at. That's a 5 out of 10 on Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel of the likelihood that I will jump off that bridge. Now, we have a very daunting schedule. Things are going to get real here soon, and I can't wait to see these starters who are apparently having great training camps. Parker Washington, my favorite player on the Jags, minus Trevor Lawrence. The bum himself, BTJ, is apparently having a very good training camp. I would love to see it on the field. That's for gosh damn sure. And Weapon X, Travis Hunter, the man that looks like a Ninja Turtle himself. I love that dude. Great attitude, great kid. He apparently has been getting absolutely smoked in these co-practices versus the Saints. I'm not going to put up video clips of that, but give the guy a break. He's back, getting back into the swing of things. Let's not be too judgmental, but let's be for real. After watching this game, it is a little worrisome how badly we played in the first half. If those are truly our second stringers out there, I don't have a lot of confidence if our first stringers go down that our second stringers can fill in and acquit themselves well, and that we could win football games. And that remains very true. If Trevor Lawrence goes down, mark my words, we are going to get absolutely fucking cooked by everyone. So those are my thoughts today. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. We will try to do more videos in the new Jaguar Lounge. Look at this setup. Look at these autographs behind here. We got Josh Hines Allen. We got Roy Robertson Harrison, not even on the team anymore. Actually, funny story about Roy Robertson Harrison. I met that cat at an autograph convention, and he didn't want to take a picture with me after the autograph. It was only my wife he wanted to take a picture of, and I'm pretty sure he grew up my wife's butt, but and I don't blame him. I will post a picture down here in the bottom left corner of my wife's behind. It is quite nice, so I don't blame him on that regards to that. But anywho, this is your boy Sean signing out, home of Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. This is Jaggin Out. Hopefully we'll talk again soon. Later. Bye. Duval, and fuck you, Texans fans. One last big fuck you, you bums. Go drink some bleach tonight, you losers. See ya.